What's happening? Welcome everyone to the CEO show. The show will sit down with inspiring business owners to hear their real stories, the ups and downs of running the business and the money talking no one really talks about. I'm your host T-Mike, and today I'm joined by Lee Hutton, the owner, founder and CEO of CannaHelthcareuk. So we're just going to jump straight in. Tell us a bit about yourself, Lee. How you getting it?
Not too bad, keeping all well. It's good to be on. Good to be the first podcast with you. Very privileged, thank you very much.
Well, the very first. We're fucking starting with fucking a high bar, a high standard. But yeah, tell everyone, I think it'll be better to start with how we know each other first of all. You're actually my specialist consultant.
That's exactly right.
Is that the title? I actually got it right.
You got it right, that's bang on the
button
this time.
He's a full-on fucking top-tier PhD fucking neuroscience doctor, like. But he's my specialist consultant, so it was something that I didn't actually understand was a thing. Like, I knew that we had like a fucking canna culture in Northern Ireland. I knew that we had something like that was really strong, but I didn't actually know that we had a legal side of things that was so strong, and that's why I was so excited to get you on, because yeah, most people still they don't know about it.
Very much so. I mean, it's changed so much now. I mean, cannabis has been legal on prescription since 2018, and it blows my mind that still this day so many people don't realise it's fully legal. Obviously it's legal for dry herb vaporization, but I mean it's legal. It's pastils available now. There's vapes available. There's flour. It blows people's mind when they get flour prescribed to their door and it comes to their door via raw mail the next day.
Yes.
It's still shocking to a lot of people.
Yeah, because you can actually get your cannabis to your house legally quicker than you can get your Amazon order 9 times out of 10. And it's insane the way it works like that, but it's fucking smashing. You can travel on holiday with it as well, and then with the way that people have, the way we've got such a tablet epidemic, for example, stuff like that, there it really does negate a load of stuff, and then no victim, no crime as well. You're removing.
I mean, that's the main reason why I got into it, was the opioid crisis, and many people's on tablets. I mean, that's the same reason that got me into cannabis in the first place. Years ago, was a doctor put me on opioids and all sorts of anti-anxiety tablets. It made me worse. I mean, I'm riddled with anxiety naturally, and cannabis is what changed my life, and that's why I try and change as many other people's with it as I can.
And this is it too, because I think there's a big misconception about cannabis will give you anxiety. I think it just is how you psychologically approach cannabis too, because to tell people on here that you're a naturally very anxious person, I think that a lot of people will be like, but he doesn't seem to be, because they're not watching it. But when you're fucking...
The fact that you say that sort of surprised me, and it shows me what cannabis is doing for me as a whole, because I am naturally riddled with anxiety. I have been for the age of 5 or 6. To the point where I was 19, I was passing out, waking up in hospitals with panic attacks. So the anxiety is right for me. High anxiety's always been there, and to be honest, the first time I tried cannabis when I was 19, I'd never tried any drugs, and it was the first time it silenced in my head in my whole life. That's
a real good way to put it, because I remember when I told my mum, because my mum was always like, you smoke too much green, it's fucked up, stop it. And then she'd said to me one time, she's like, I understand you're getting this from a doctor, but like, how does it help you? How do you feel like it helps you? And I was like, when you've got ADHD, it's like you've got 3 simultaneous conversations going at the same time.
Bingo.
But then as soon as you take a draw of your joint, it all just sort of fizzles out into like one conversation, and then you're like, right, sweet, now I can attack the day in like a more structured way, and now I can actually like, because even this studio and stuff like that there, if I wasn't smoking weed daily, I don't think I could have knocked this together.
You couldn't get the focus together to do it, yeah.
And I don't think, that's what I was saying to you before we started, I don't think it's actually a dependency thing. I just think that when you look at it like a medicine and not a drug,
you function better with it.
Yeah, it's not that you're dependent on it, it's that you can just get a wee bit above the bar.
It's just like anything can be abused, you know what I mean? You can become dependent, of course you can, but I definitely don't believe you are. There's people out there that are, but I mean, I know plenty of people that use cannabis on a daily, and to be honest, they're more productive than some people that don't use cannabis.
100%.
I mean, the stoner sort of lazy, unmotivated stigma tends to be disappearing quite a lot now. People are realising how many productive stoners there is. It's sort of...
And the athletic stoners.
Yeah, there's another one, Michael Phelps and everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the athletic stoners, even like fucking Paddy McCrory as well. Like, see, even in just the MMA community alone, the amount of stoners that could run fucking 20 miles just whatever direction you point them to is insane as well.
Shocking. I mean, you know, I'm involved with a lot of MMA boys with CannaHelp and stuff, and most of them are the same. They all use cannabis one way or another, and to be honest, fucking the most fit guys I know, and the most motivated guys I know.
And then do you think that you would find that people would have more prone to having lung issues and stuff when they go the vaporizing route and just use a vaporizer? Do you think it has?
From a personal experience, mate, certainly turning the vaporizer is the best thing I've ever done. Honestly, it really is. I mean, I consumed cannabis with pure joints for many years, obviously, until I was able to find a vaporizer I was content with. I tried loads of other ones, didn't give me what I wanted, but when I got the Venti, it gave me as close to combustion as I wanted. But it's a benefit you're getting. I mean, you combust your cannabis, you're losing so many terpenes, flavonoids, flavourings, and so many different things missing there. Where you're consuming it in a dry herb vaporizer, you're not losing them, you're getting the benefit of those things, but you're getting the flavour of your cannabis, you're getting to enjoy your cannabis more. So it really is a no-brainer, and to be honest, you do feel the health benefits chest-wise and lung-wise, no doubt.
Because I get the chest day, I'm one of them ones, and I do just smoke back-to-back joints. I love ripping joints, and I think it's more the ritual of sitting there and rolling your joint and then having the nice relaxing smoke of it and all. But then when I took a smoke of the Venti, it's, as you said, it's as close you'll get the combustion. What we mean by that obviously is like this is on fire, so this is combusting. Where with a vaporizer, it just sort of like
heats it to a certain temperature where it doesn't combust. But that's it's weird you say that, because that's the one thing I miss. See that ceremonial sitting rolling the joint. I mean, I've done it now from when I was 19 and 47 now. So it's been a long time I've been sitting doing that before I consume my medicine. So it becomes part of the routine and part of the ritual. And to be honest, I miss that ritual, and I can't go back to combustion again, because I tried a pure joint about 3-4 weeks ago, and I can't enjoy it anymore.
Oh, your chest says no.
So it's not that at all. It just taste wise, it tastes like it's already been smoked. As weird as that sounds, it just tastes. I mean, no matter how what quality fire it is you're smoking, I mean, it just tastes literally like it's been smoked when you've been used to a vaporizer for a week or two.
You're so used to that pure
the flavour, the terpenes are all coming through, and as soon as you light it, you've lost most of those terpenes through the plant. It's gone.
It's the science behind cannabis is kind of mind-boggling sometimes as well. Like, I'm sure for someone that's just thinking about getting into medical cannabis and all, it could seem like a very, very daunting thing, but then at the same time too, I do think it's just one of them things, just fucking order a pot and whack it in your vaporizer and see how
Look, there's no doubt it's daunting for a lot of people, especially when you look at a formulary and see all these crazy strain names, do you know what I mean? That's what a lot of people are saying to me, sort of, that aren't in the community and it's new to this sort of thing, and genuinely have stepped on board because of the heard it's good medicine, they want to swap off their opioids. So these type of people are like sort of hearing strains like ripped off runts and it's bewildering them, it's making it a wee bit hard to get used to and a wee bit intimidating, but after a few sort of months they adjust and they realise just to look at terpene profiles and stuff, and cannabinoid profiles to find out what they're smoking.
Well, anytime that I'm speaking to anyone that's like just starting to smoke cannabis and they always ask me about strains and how it works, I always use GMO as a good example because it's garlic, mushrooms and onions. I'm like, once you get once you've smoked a few runs and once you've smoked a couple Mac ones and once you've smoked this and you've smoked that, you sort of get a general like gist for the profile, and then when you're hearing that's this cross with this, you can sort of just put it together in your head, and then it just becomes flavour. It's like coffee. Like, I don't like Colombian coffee, but I really like Brazilian coffee.
It's a very good way to put it, mate, to be honest. It's exactly what it's like. I mean, that you've only really you've thousands and thousands of strains now, but you've maybe sort of only really 5 or 6 main profiles, like fruity and gassy and things like that, do you know what I mean? So you can break it down right and easy, and you'll learn to figure out what goes into what category, and the names will usually give that away.
Yeah, because for me, it's the gassy flavours, it's the ones that like you blow out the smoke, and then you can still it's just still in the back of your throat.
It's all like the gas, but I really like candies. Candies is really, I know there's a big candy hype going to minute, so I'm sort of buying into the hype, but because I've got such a sort of sweet tooth, I've always bought into candy flavours.
Yeah, because you can get the creamy cannabis as well, which is also, it's just mad the way it all breaks down. But before we go into a fucking rant and sit here and talk all day, I'll get into the actual main questions and the reason why we're here. So the first one I'm going to get down to, it's just about your passion and your personal journey in the industry that you're in. So the first question that I'd ask you is just what inspired you to get into the industry?
Literally what cannabis done for me, mate, as I say, I was 18 before I went to the doctor about my anxiety because I was passing out. Doctor put me on antidepressants, beta blockers, things that would slow my heart down, things that really slow my mind down to where I couldn't think straight. Within months, they got me to a point where I physically couldn't leave the house because my anxiety was that bad that I couldn't physically walk out the door. So I sort of looked at myself and went, my anxiety was always bad, but it was never this bad. So there's something causing this. And then I looked at the side effects of tablets, may cause suicidal thoughts, may cause anxiety. It's like, doctors give me these for anxiety, it's blowing my mind. So it opened my eyes to the whole pharmaceutical industry too for what it is. But then I sort of had to look at natural homeopathic medicines. I'd never tried any drugs. So I was looking on the internet and cannabis kept coming up. And I tried it, and for the first time in my life, like I say, I felt that peace and that silence in my head, and I could focus on what I wanted to focus on rather than 20 thoughts racing over the top of each other. I mean, those thoughts are racing over the top of each other when you're anxious are always negative. Yeah. So it's a hard life to live, and it's very tiring too. So cannabis just changed my whole life. A week later, I contacted the same guy and asked him to drop me more weed round. He dropped me more weed round, totally different ball game. Smoked it and felt anxious and paranoid, couldn't figure this out. And that's what started my education, because like, why is this making me anxious? And the last one
time
made me great. Weed's weed, but no, I'd say then soon learned that weed's not just weed. There's thousands of strains. There's indica sativa. There's so many different sort of profiles, cannabinoids, flavonoids, flavorants. So many things affect this. The entourage effect affects this.
Yeah.
So I mean, that started my education, and that since then I just started educating myself in cannabis and telling as many people as I could about cannabis. And from then on, I obviously looked for any education I could find online and done whatever education I could find online to move forward and progress.
I think that's a really good story to be in the industry that you're in, because a lot of people have a misconception where they smoke it once and then they hit a whitey and then they're like, no, that's fucking terrible, and then they live with like the glasses on, and like anytime they see someone smoking weed, it's like, no, you're lazy and fucking how's your head not racked and all that there. And I think to have that experience as well, because I think everyone that's a daily stoner has that one experience where they're like, fuck, I was scared for
no doubt.
Everyone does, because I remember it felt like a fucking psychedelic experience almost, because the first time I smoked weed I was 12, and I remember smoking a bong and like everything was sand, and that's just the way it was for like an hour and a half. Now I ended up waiting like fuck, but the more I was sick, like the more it like went away, and I remember being like, fuck, I don't know if I ever want to do that again. Like,
yeah, it can be intimidating, and I say it was definitely intimidating for me, because I'd never used any drugs at that stage, and that was the second time I'd ever used weed. It was like, what the hell's going on here? But then that started me, that got my curiosity going. It was how come one time it was great and the next time it wasn't. So then I just started my education. It was like, right, indica sativa, different levels of THC. What is THC, right? What is CBD? And that was it. I just started my education, and I've always been keen to learn, so that was just me on a journey. Like, I'm still on that journey this day.
I think, yeah, because it's such a constantly evolving market and such a constantly growing industry, it's one of them things where you're never gonna be able to learn it all.
You'll never know it all.
Yeah,
you'd be naive to think you ever know nearly all of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's always developing. They're learning more about cannabis every day. Do you know what I mean? And more about the compounds in it, and we still don't know half of what's to know about it.
And it just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and then things keep getting stronger and stronger too, which is another thing that I find funny, because I don't know if I've actually seen things hit probably over about 33% naturally. Like,
yeah.
Do you think that there's a reason for that threshold?
Well, it's hard to, I mean, they've tried to breed past that, but because of all the other compounds the plant needs, they can't get past that. To be honest, 34% is probably as far as they're ever going to push that. That's why they went the extracts. That's why so many people started pushing extracts, because they can extract the farms, make such higher concentrations of THC, and that's unfortunately what the industry wants. I'm one of the few to sort of go against this THC hype. I don't buy the THC hype, to be honest with you. I mean, I think you can get as good an effect from a middle of the range THC strain. There's no doubt with the entourage effect that comes from all the other flavours and flavonoids and terpenes and cannabinoids in the plant. You can get as good a feeling and a buzz that you're after from a middle of the range plant as you can from a high THC strain. I think THC is well overrated, to be quite honest.
Right, and see, for just the average smoker, that would be seen as a controversial opinion, just because it's the same with
big time.
It's the same with alcohol. You just look at ABV and you're like, that's the high fucked up I'm gonna get number. So talk a bit more about the entourage effect. You've touched on that a few times, and I don't think that's something that people really. I don't really know much about it. I just know that, for example, especially because it's a herb as well, herbs giving off certain flavonoids and terpenes can create certain just feelings off of not even smoking it and stuff like that.
So it's like I said to a guy the other night. What do people call? What do you class as high? When you say cannabis getting me high, what do you class as that? Do you class as a relaxed feeling? Do you class it? Do you know what I mean? That's a big question. Do you know what I mean? I think
that's a really good question, because for me, I think it's more a visual thing, and I think that will go back to my first proper experience with it, which where it was very visual for me. So now, if my vision,
you're not getting a bit of that. You don't feel like you're high. Yeah, exactly. So you can define that. It's very good. But a lot of people can't define that, and that's why I want to ask this question to so many people in the industry, out of the industry, medical patients, because I think it matters. Do you know what I mean? Everybody's just like, THC gets you high, but no. What is high? Do you know what I mean? And where does that lie? Because the entourage effect will get you high if you want to class yourself as getting high. I mean, I have a really good 1-to-1 strain there I'm using at the minute. Fantastic. Really, really good for anxiety, but it's 50% CBD, 50% THC. I guarantee you can give people as much relaxation as a high THC strain will, and it'll blow people's mind that way. And then you have the entourage effect. The way it works is you've a certain amount of cannabinoids in the plant, but the more terpenes, flavonoids, flavourants you're adding along to that mix, the more you're increasing the entourage effect. Right. So you have THC, you're just getting a head slap, like it's like these dislipens and stuff, you're getting a head slap of THC, and that's what you feel, right? But then you can add other cannabinoids into that where you change the whole effect, but you can still have a heavy hit from that. but it's going to increase each time because the underage effect increases your overall stone or your overall high, if you want to call it.
Right, and I think that's something that, because to wrap your head around it is just mad because, you expect just to smoke the THC and that's what's getting you stoned, but then when you think about, because I do get what you mean, because when I smoke a bit of cannabis, and then if it is a lower percent, say it's even like 18 or 20 odd, if I get that good chesty fucking feeling, like I think I would get there quicker, do you know what I mean? I think it's easier for me to sit down and enjoy, but I think I would be a lot less harsh on a strain if I get that taste right off the bat.
So you're not chasing that?
Yeah. So it boils down to just the entourage effect and how the culmination of the flavonoids and the terpenes are together in the flower that'll create the high.
Exactly right. So see when I start creating products, a lot of people create basic CBD products with isolate. So it's just a broke down isolate, 99% CBD, nothing else in it, it's a powder.
Right.
That's how most people make their stuff, right? Their CBD products, so they put CBD on the label, stick on the shelf.
Right.
I've always used distillate because distillate brings a broader spectrum of cannabinoids, terpenes and flavonoids, right? They're all in there, so you have a broader spectrum of that initially. Then I obviously bring in the other terpenes into the mix, which increase the entourage effect, so my daytime helping anxiety and depression. Does that because the terpenes and the entourage effect come from everything to give you that relief. The nighttime with the whole, when people use my nighttime to get that burn behind the eyes, they get that big hug that comes over the indica strain. That's the terpenes and acting together with the cannabinoids to give that entourage effect doing that.
Right.
But then people are going to go, is that making me high? Is that high? Do you know what I mean? So people use a nighttime strain with terpenes, it gives them that burn behind the eyes and that hug. Why is that not you feeling high?
Well, no, because I would say this because...
and there's no THC even in that, but you can still, I would still class that as feeling high, to where you're relaxed and you're so...
You feel it, and it's something that's measurable to like you consciously, like you can consciously feel it, because I was telling you before we got started, when I used to work in a wee office job, I had monster edible while I was working, thinking that I'd dosed them right, and I just fucking didn't. So where is the day one? So I was taking wee pumps of that when I was getting the waves of I'm really stoned fucking anxiety because I'd overdosed myself. And then I thought, fuck it, I'll switch to this one. Because every like 20 minutes, half an hour, I was thinking to take a squirt out. So I took 4 of that there, and then it was fine. It just faded away, so it did. And it really did just complement the high. This year I'm really excited to try as well. So tell us a bit about this.
I developed that in our company there recently, helped them develop it. It's a local company, very, very well done. They've done everything to highest quality they can, and they brought me in to help them with flavours and stuff, and terpene profiles, decreasing super lemon haze. Very, very good device, CBG and CBD. So again, a lot of people are still focused on CBD, where CBG is the mother of all cannabinoids. That's always going to be the best of them all.
CBG?
Yeah. I mean, see, when a plant starts growing, the only cannabinoid in the plant is CBGA. There's no other cannabinoid in the plant when it starts out life. And then over time it progresses, and then that CBGA will change to all the other cannabinoids.
Right, and this is very professional.
Oh, it's very well packed.
By the way,
it's very well done.
Right.
Take that out, and then this fits in here, so your flavour, your oil isn't in with your coil at all yet, so you're just breaking that seed now. So then you give it a minute to let that soak in, so it's as fresh as it can be. Can't be any fresher.
That's a really nice touch. That's a very, very nice touch. You've got to get out of details, quite thin as well. Is this, what's this, so 10 mil, and then with the size of it as well, so how many puffs do you reckon you would get out of that if you were just a guess?
I have no idea, because I'm not a big vapor, to be honest, on these ones.
I'm
the same as most of your 10 mil devices, I would imagine. But again, it's handy because you can just replace that pod each time. Do you mean you get the different flavours? Yeah,
well, I'm going to get off the pegs this hopefully, so I'm going to keep everyone a little bit.
Well, I hope you do. I'm going to keep an eye on you.
Desperate of taking off the pegs, like I don't know why I actually picked them back up again, because I was fucking off them, and then...
Seriously?
I just flat out doing so much, and well, even up here and all, I'm like, fuck it, I'll just have a quick fag and then get back to it, do you know what I mean? Because people use fags to replace meals, I'm telling you.
Oh, there's no doubt, people use a lot of things to replace meals.
Fag and a Red Bull, like, that's my best one was.
I used to do a Mars and a Red Bull until I had to stop Red Bulls years ago.
It was after I got my COVID vaccine. I ended up having a really dodgy ticker, because Scooter had a concert as well. They'd done 3 days in a row, but their rider was like 424 crates of Red Bull every day, so there was like just a load of Red Bulls, and we're like, we're going to drink them lads, and we were having 8 Red Bulls a day, and my heart said stop it.
I used to do about 19, 20 a day until my heart told me to stop it.
Oh mate,
for too many years. It's bad news.
But I'll jump on to the next question. Who or what has had the biggest influence on your career so far?
Fucking hell, that's a big question there. Well, weed obviously is the biggest influence on my career. I can't really deny that. As regards people, anybody that's out there doing things for the right reason in the cannabis industry, that's not out there just for the money, because that's the reason I get into it. I want to change as many people's lives as possible with cannabis. So I've the utmost respect for anybody doing the same thing, and there's plenty of others doing the same thing. Don't get me wrong, there's plenty of people in the industry just for money. There's plenty of people in the industry taking a hand out of people too. But the ones that are out there doing good things in the community and helping people, that's the people I have plenty of respect for, that inspire me.
That's a great answer. Yeah, I think that the people that are in the industry trying to just make as much money as they can, I think it usually does just reflect on their work. That's why I think when it comes to products like this here, they're really well put together, professionally packaged. You take the extra steps to make sure the coil's not touching the fucking oil and stuff.
Wee things matter.
Yeah, those wee small things really do, and it shows that you care and it shows that you're doing things for the right reason. The same with these. Yeah, these are smashing with the balm as well.
Thank you.
I've brought back like rubbing the balm on the back really soothes the fucking joint pain and shit like that.
I've always made sure my products are top notch. I trial every single product I've ever put in the shelves for about 4 to 5 weeks with 10 to 20 people to make sure I get the results I want. I'm not getting the results I want to go back in the lab and recreate it.
Yeah.
Once I get the results I want, that's when I press the button on the product and put it out.
But see, this is why everyone fucking calls you a doctor though. This is why everyone calls you a fucking doctor, because yeah, you're doing...
An alchemist.
You do real life science. You do real life science, and like this is what it is. And yeah, that's why I love watching your reviews of the strains as well, because it's very no nonsense and it's very straight to the point, and you know exactly what you're talking about. So you know, I know when I'm listening to you or taking in your content that that's exactly what I'm gonna get when I'm buying it. Like I could watch your content and then use that on whether I'm gonna buy it or not. That's the way I would.
Well, a lot of people know I don't sell hype. Do you know what I mean? I don't buy the hype. I've never
really
bought into Cali nonsense. I've never bought into high THC nonsense. I don't buy hype. I don't sell hype. Do you know what I mean? So people know when I'm saying something. It's how I genuinely feel.
I really buy into hype, like so. I'm a wee fucking all, especially when it comes to the weed, because it's like when the Jungle Boys was going about. I was like, yes, the Jungle Boys was fucking smashing with the cookies packs and stuff like that. I'm really into my. That's what I do every birthday. Every birthday I'll buy myself a wee Cali pack, so I will. But it's just one of them ones where it's just such an inflated market, and then I just think some of the nicest cannabis that's ever graced this planet Earth grown in Portugal and Canada, like.
Yeah, Canada's phenomenal what they do. I mean, even the medical game, the formula, you look down the formula, you see any quality strains that's coming out, 90% is Canadian.
They are, and then is Miracle, or what is it, MAC?
Marigold Valley.
It's Canada.
Marigold Valley, yeah, that's Marigold Valley, all their stuff's Canadian. They do the Mac one.
Yeah, because that Mac
Canadian
one
too.
lovely.
Not 420's Canadian, Sick is Canadian, Paper is Canadian. There's a lot of Canadian companies on now.
What's your favourite strain on the medical market? Mine was the Big Nasty Glitter Bomb. It was the first one I ever got, and I still don't think nothing's topped it for me.
I'll be honest, I was keen on the orange cake from Lot 420 Canadian again for a long time, but see now that Glass Farms have came across with a balanced strain of 710, there's nothing touches that for me, just for anxiety and just focus. And I need to stay productive. Obviously, I'm very active in what I do. I'm busy. I'm running the podcast. I'm doing the brand. I'm running everything else. I'm helping patients get prescribed. So it's non-stop for me. So I can't have something that's going to make me lazy and unmotivated and try and meet a bit of that stigma. I have to go all the time. But with being like that, it raises my anxiety. So I need something I can still be like that, but be calm enough.
Yeah, and I can negate your anxiety.
And that one-to-one balance just does it for me. It's phenomenal that way.
The one-to-ones, because I've had the one-to-ones in gummy form. So I have. And yeah, it is just, I just call them anxiety killers, because that's exactly what they are. They just turn the anxiety off, and you can just operate and function again on like a normal wavelength. I love the one-to-one ratios. I think CBD as well. People think that, especially stoners like, what the fuck they want CBD
exactly.
Because you can just get stoned. But like, see if you are getting stoned and you add a bit of fucking CBD in there, people think. Especially with that whole thing, do you ever see when you get like the cannabis chefs and like, I'll give you CBD to bring you back down? I think people have this misconception that it blocks out the high that you're having, but I think it really does just blend in with it.
It can complement it to a degree, but obviously with THC being psychotropic and psychoactive and CBD being anti-psychotropic and anti-psychoactive, it does balance down your high a wee bit, so it'll take away any negativity, but it can still complement your overall feeling you're getting from the entourage effect.
I'm gonna break your fucking sense device.
Alright, there you go. Bump it up again. That's you.
Right.
Once that vibrates and goes green, that's it. Now your first draw you'll get out of it will literally just be flavour. Be nothing more. You'll not get any vapour from your first draw. You'll just get flavour, all the really good taste of flavour, whatever you're smoking there or vaping. But after that, the next draw will be good. I mean, the venti really has blew my mind of what it does for flower.
The taste of it's just
It's shocking.
insane.
Yeah, it's just what you
insane.
smell. I mean, your weed tastes like it smells, just as it should. Do you know what I mean? But obviously, when you're combusting it, you've lost every bit of that. Your flavour's gone. That's what I'm saying. There's so many people flavour chasing with these calorie strains and paying out big money for flour, and then they're sticking it in the skin, lighting it up, and they've lost all the flavonoids, terpenes. Do you know what I mean? There's so much gone from that plant. It's mind blowing. And then the whole experience where they're not getting the whole entourage effect in the experience because they've burnt most of the goodness off. It really does matter, like.
And you really treat the plant the way it was made to be treated, I believe, like, so you do. I think, yeah, you don't fuck about and get like a wee shitty vape, because the wee vapes that I see people on about with and the prescriptions, like, wee fucking...
It made it matters, and that's the truth. I've tried them all, I've tried the packs, I've tried all the other stores and pickled ones even over the years, which weren't cheap either, but the Venti is just different. They finally got the technology where it needs to be, and that's just what I believe.
I think though that's just the big downside about the medical market is the gear and the kit is just fucking expensive, like, so it is.
But it pays for itself. Well, I'll put an example. I was smoking pure joints until I got that. So pure joints is 1.5 grams a joint, right? So if I have 3 joints, it'll give me the same effect as 3 of those. In one of the week loading capsules, and one of those is 0.2 of a gram.
And then that
So
again, so does that mean that's done?
In comparison, no, it just means drop temperature down again because it's boost. So in comparison to that, when I smoke 3 of them in comparison to 3 joints, 3 joints is 4.5 grams. 3 of those is 0.6 of a gram. So that's the difference of, do you know what I mean?
Right.
So and if you look at it in that respect, anyone smoking pure joints, that'll pay for itself within a week or 2.
Does the vaporizer, because it's vaporizing and not combusting, does that do something different to the cannabis itself, and does that give you more of an effect?
Well, that's here's the key. Nothing's really disappeared, right? So this is the joy of vaporizers and ABV, which has already been vaped weed, right? So when you when you have weed that's raw, right? So you get raw weed straight out of the tub, that has no THC in it, unless it's been left stored for a while. You might have wee trace, right? There's no actual THC in that until you heat it. There's THCA in that. So every cannabinoid that's in a plant raw form is acidic. So THCA, CBDA, CBGA, and so on. Once you heat that to a certain temperature, the A disappears and it becomes THC, CBD, and CBG. That's when it becomes active. Okay?
Right.
So that's when you get your high, as I call it, from THC, and you'll not get a high from just eat. So if you just eat weed, obviously you don't get high.
But
if
you put it in
a cake or whatever, decarb it, then that's what decarb is doing. Right now, what you've just done in that vaporizer, all you've done is decarb that weed.
Right.
Literally all you've done. So your weed's still got plenty of uses. People can use this to make cakes, use it to make butter, use it to make RSO.
After this?
Oh, that's not harmed if you don't take it up to a high temperature. I only take mine up to 195. And at 195, you still got a lot of goodness in there that hasn't been wasted. And the thing about it is, you've just activated all those cannabinoids, so it's just like decarbonate in the oven, no different. But you still get everything in there, all the goodness is there. So that's the joy of it. Plus you've now got a medical.
Fucking mind. So you could rip them and keep the yolks.
Yes.
And then just be like, fuck it, I'm gonna put that in butter and maybe butts brownies.
Yeah.
Think about the amount of money you would
and
save.
And you don't need to decarb it because you've already decarbed it in your device. So all you do is you get another wee tub and you just empty those wee pods in that wee tub as you use them. And then once you build that up, then that's all decarbed weed. That's all it is decarb cannabis. It's not juiced. I mean, if you look at it, it's light. You know what I mean? It's light in colour. Look at that. That's not black. That's what you put it out.
Yeah, but
and at 195, that's not combusted to a high temperature. That's not vaporized to a high temperature.
You could confuse that with like a really fucking funky coloured tobacco, like it's more brown than fucking green, like
Or a cheap dodgy Thai weed.
Yeah, but a Thai stick, alright.
But yeah, in comparison, I mean, you look at that, you can tell. You look at decarb weed's nearly darker than that. So it shows how much benefit's still in that.
Yeah, and I think it's mad the amount of flavour that you really do get off it, and how fucking stunned that I've got from starting smoking this and now, like, it's pretty funny, like. So
I mean, that's what I'm saying, that the feeling is tenfold of what you'll get from a joint, honestly.
Because how long does this thing go for?
That's
probably it about done.
That's it, just press the button aside, that's it done. And that's it, and then you just change your pods. They're very, very good, honestly, I can't fault it, it's the best thing ever done.
Oh,
that's God.
That's a wee bit warm, like, only about 190 degrees, that's very tough. Another question that I was wanting to ask you is, and this is where we finish off on our first section, this is my favourite question of the whole day. If you could go back to day one and speak to your younger self when you were starting out, what would be the thing that you tell them? This is a great question.
careful who you trust.
Very good, very good. To be honest, that would probably be something similar for myself. To be fair, because obviously just in the music industry, it's just one of them ones.
It's every industry, mate. There's always somebody out there trying to sort of cut somebody down.
I suppose it's just life in general, isn't it?
Well, that's it. I mean, we can all build tall buildings, but some people try and knock other people's building down, so there's a taller. But you just need to build taller buildings yourself and focus on your own.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's really well said, because the cannabis industry as well, I don't think it should be about anything other than the helping each other and stuff like that. There's very few industries that have that fucking nice connotation behind them anyway, so I think what the fuck's the point in changing it and fucking about and...
Well, you name me another industry that people relate to and put community after the name.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's all it's ever been for years, cannabis community. And it's because it has been that for a long time. They don't get me wrong, a lot of people have ruined that here and there. That's the way the world goes. But in general, the cannabis community speaks volumes, because that's what it should be. It should be a community of people helping each other in what way they can.
1000%. And that's the way the couple of wee cannabis culture, like wee events that go on throughout the year and stuff like that there, when you actually go to them and you see them, you're just like, how is this illegal? Like the comedy night was fucking smashing crack. It was
unbelievable.
It was the best thing ever.
One of the best ever.
It was the best thing ever. I felt like I was at like the Stoner fucking Grammys or something.
It was phenomenal. It was really well laid out, really well done. Credit to all involved. You know what I mean? There's been plenty of events over the years that have been fantastic.
That Life's a Beatson was an argued one as well.
There's been plenty we've all pulled together for, and it's been really, really good. And you look at a club night or a pub, and you look at the trouble every night. You look at any of our events, there's never any trouble at the events. Never, not once has there been fighting or rows or anybody. Do you know what I mean? It's the difference between drink and cannabis.
Yeah, it's the only time that there actually is ever like fucking skittish moments is when everyone's stoned and hears the siren go past and everyone gets a wee bit scared for a second, because it's just natural, like you do.
But then that goes to another question about cannabis making you paranoid. Does cannabis make you paranoid, or is it the legality that makes you paranoid?
I think it's, for me,
I think it's majorly the legality.
Personally, it's 100% the legality about it.
Yeah,
just for the simple fact of like, yeah, it's just an anxiety that I just don't think I'll ever fucking leave.
Yeah, because it's still that stigma's always going to be in the back of your head to a degree, because it's what you're brought up with. You know what I mean? It's what we're institutionalised with.
They're still taking people's prescriptions off them anyway and having to return them.
Yes, so here,
like
yeah.
But then, I think as well, if they're taking my prescription off me and holding them for a couple of days, best believe you'll be hearing from my solicitor.
Well, that's a discrimination case.
Oh,
there's no right to take them. They'll go put people in the street and take Prozac off them. Do you know what I mean? That's not the way it works. 5 times I think.
Right.
Heard on as a button. Here's here.
I know I was drawing it and I was like, I don't feel like. I was like, that's a really big draw. You don't actually feel like you're smoking that. That's class.
Draw it now. It should light up this time. Yeah. Actually no.
Oh wow.
Because
it does taste a wee bit weedy like
that. It does taste weedy like that. See, I would happy during the day, sort of give up that sort of urge, because you're getting that taste too.
And it gives you that, because that's what I mean, it tastes weedy enough, but like, it's not that overpowering, because usually when you get even like fucking edibles and all, you're like an edible and you're like, fuck me, my mouth tastes like shite. Like, it's nice like for like 5 minutes, but I wanted to chill out. No, that there's really like, it's almost sweet at the same time, yeah.
It's the same with every cannabis product. I mean, edibles shouldn't have bad taste either. Everything should be well balanced, should be done right, where you shouldn't have a sort of any thing that should put you off. Do you know what I mean?
I'm very, but when it comes to the edibles, I just think fucking
as strong as I can.
Go hard or go home, because I see the way Americans do this fucking 20 milligram edible products. It really rubs me the wrong way.
My mind whenever it
pisses me the fuck off.
Yeah.
Fuckingly, I'm telling you, because I just think when you're especially with edibles and stuff like that, they're the whole reason.
If you're consuming edibles, you're consuming edibles to get high.
Yeah.
You're consuming that to get baked as far as we're concerned, you know what I mean? So you want that relaxation to where you're lying watching TV and you're not sure of your legs and get you up to go get the snack out of the kitchen.
Well,
that's what you want.
The way I look, that's exactly the way I look at it as well, because to me it's like I think there should be 2 different lanes of edibles. There should be like your daily consumption,
medicinal, recreational.
Yeah. Facts. That's the best way to put it. It's like, is this the way you do orally ingest your cannabis like all the time? And if you do eat these, you just looking to get fucked up, right? And you can just eat these.
Yeah, you'll lose a day with this.
Yeah, because I think people as well think that because there's that aspect of it that like people just enjoy, and people be like, right, I want to get more stoned today. Like, because if I have like a good day and I've got like a load of work done, then I get home and I'm like, happy days, I'm gonna get really stoned.
I deserve to get really good now because
do you think, as someone that's in the medical space, do you think that that's something that could be perceived as wrong, or do you think that that's something that people shouldn't be doing, or what's your thoughts on that?
No, look, it's a very it's a complex question, and there's no doubt about that. But I think it's beneficial if you can enjoy your medicine, and I think that's the best way I'm going to put it, because there's no doubt if we have to take medicine, surely if you're enjoying it, it's not a bad thing. Where if you're taking medicine and you don't enjoy it, it's not so great. Do you know what I mean? So in other words, if you're taking opioids and you're getting all these side effects, your kidneys and your liver getting torn apart, and whatever other side effects you're feeling, that's not a good thing. But if cannabis doesn't bring bad side effects, and it brings joyful side effects, like feeling nice and feeling happy and feeling contented, then why shouldn't you be able to enjoy it that wee bit more?
I think that's a really good way to put it as well, because when it comes to the other side of prescription, because I have an argument with my mate, because he owns a business and the other businesses around him get like really annoyed because I always think of green. And fucking, I'm always like, I'm not doing anything wrong. Like, you can fucking speak to my solicitor, or speak to my specialist consultant, or something.
Well, that's correct. At this stage of the game,
it's like
this stage of the game. I mean, smell shouldn't matter how healthy anybody at this stage, because it's proven to be natural medicine now. Why should anyone be discriminated against for taking a natural choice? And that's what it is.
Because that's the argument that I have with him. I always say, listen, there's someone like me, when you're telling me to stop smoking cannabis, you're telling me to go pick up a box of tablets, and I know that's not what you're actually saying, and that's not what you mean. But to me, that's my two choices. So for you to tell me to stop smoking cannabis, it is like just sort of like counterproductive as fuck. Like,
people need to see that and get rid of that stigma. I mean, stigma of cannabis has disappeared a lot, no doubt. I mean, the lazy, unmotivated stoners, as I say, has disappeared a lot, but it's not away by no means. There's still a lot of stigma attached to cannabis, and that's only going to disperse over time. But now that we've got medical and people are seeing that you're able to consume it in the streets, I mean, you're perfectly entitled to sit outside Strandon police station and have a vape, as far as anybody's concerned. If you need to and you feel you need to, then that's so be it. You're entitled to do the same at the park, at Tesco's, as long as you're not around kids. Obviously, use a bit of adult responsibility, common sense. That's what anybody needs to do.
I think people need to understand that as well. It's what is it, Section 23 or something like that there? It still applies. Like, if you're fucking misusing drugs, then it's still the same way. Like, you can't stand there and fucking.
It's the same as combustion in the street. Do you know what I mean? I mean, if you're
like, you couldn't fucking put your trouser down and do your acting in the middle of the park. Like, you can't.
No, well, that's it.
You know, you can't sit in your vape either. Like, you know what I mean?
That's a fair point. Like,
So I think just.
It's common sense and adult responsibility. I mean, it's the same as driving. Everybody's like, where do I stand now driving? Well, now I've got a prescription. First thing anybody says whenever I get them a prescription is like, where do I stand with driving? It's like, mate, you still have adult responsibility. It's common sense and adult responsibility. Am I too medicated to drive? Am I not too medicated to drive? Do I feel what we call high? Do you mean, do I feel disorientated? Do I not feel disorientated? It's common sense and adult responsibility. It's all it boils down to.
So is that what because that's what I was actually going to ask you as well, is that what the distinction is when it comes down to?
It does now, because if you're not a medical patient and you're putting in your road swab test, you're breaking the law automatically, straight away.
Right.
Because you're consuming drugs.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you're putting in and you are a medical patient, it's now a different ball game, because you're expected to have THC in your blood. Why wouldn't you have THC in your body if you're consuming weed every day? So now it boils down to responsibility and adult sort of choices. Was I baked when I got in the car? And if you were, then that's where you're going to stand in the car and place your go, sure, look at the state of your baked. That's dead on. But you're also got people common sense who are consuming this on a daily basis, whose tolerance builds over time and over years with this, who can consume this on a daily basis and not get baked and not get disorientated when they're driving. So that's the choice you need to make getting in that driver's seat. Am I disorientated? Am I not? Do I feel high? Do I not? And that's all it boils down to. So when the police put you in, they're at the same view as you now. Are you disorientated? Are you baked? Are you not? Should you be driving? Should you not be driving? Your eyes will tell that. When they get you in the car and ask you to walk and whatnot, they'll tell that too. It's common sense. So it's just all boils down to common sense, being adult responsibility.
Alright, but then, so I'm going to play devil's advocate here as well,
this is what we're here for.
Alright. So say, for example, fucking Cindy Lou, who lives up the road, and she's like, but does that not make all us unsafe? Because that just means that we're leaving people being intoxicated on the road up to themselves. Like, if you ask someone, are you too stoned to drive, they're always going to say no.
Okay, right, well, what's the difference between alcohol? Are we not doing that with alcohol?
Yeah.
So what's the difference with alcohol? There is no difference with alcohol. We're doing the same with alcohol. We're letting people have that adult responsibility to see if they're fit to drive or they're not. There's a regulation going, yes, you can't be intoxicated, which is the same. But it's the same thing. They're going to have to make that adult choice. I don't drink 2 beers before I get in the car. Do you know what I mean? It's the same idea. It's no different. So they can't put in an enforcement like that where it's discrimination, because it's not. It's the same with alcohol. You can go and buy alcohol, you can go buy a bottle of vodka and drive down the road.
And I suppose the same would be said about opioids as well. So
That's the thing too. I mean, you've so many people, and I know I see it. People driving about, and fine rightly they're off for tits and opioids. Middle-aged people just they're staring through you rather than staring at you when they put it in front of you. Do you know what I mean?
doing that roundabout.
And we know there's an opioid pandemic. Do you know what I mean? We know that. So what's the situation if the police put someone in there but they think disorientated, they don't test for cannabis and they don't test for weed, get in the car and drive on? It's bullshit. Do you know what I mean? They should be asking, are you prescribed any drugs? Are you not prescribed any drugs? But no, that never gets raised. Do you know what I'm saying? So there is discrimination there if they want to go that way. But certainly not towards the weed. It's against, do you know what I mean, against the weed.
Yeah.
Discriminating against the weed with not testing for opioids and checking people.
I think that happens. I think it's just again, it's like a systemic stigma, because the day-to-day person doesn't necessarily hold the belief. I think most people think stoners are a bit more lazy. I think people think stoners are a bit more stupid as well, but I don't think that any day-to-day normal person really does truly believe that they're like bad for society.
No.
Or like the way that the laws and the way that everything around it's structured, it's like they are. Where I just think fucking free the weed, like fucking tax it at 50%, we don't care.
No, look, as far as I'm concerned, it's a human right. Do you know what I mean? It's a plant. Grows in the ground, you need adult responsibility like anything else. Fuck, you can abuse cheeseburgers, you go and eat 20 McDonald's a day. Do you know what I mean? You can abuse anything in this world, but it just doesn't mean you're going to fucking shut McDonald's down. Do you know what I mean? So it is what it is. It's just you can't discriminate against cannabis like that. It has to boil down to adult responsibility, mate. It's all it is. Like.
Yeah, because I like the way that you answered the question, because I think that people always put a straw man argument to it, and they'll say something about cannabis that you could say about anything, and that it's never actually like taken in well. Because when I worked for the civil service as well, like see, when I told them that I had the prescription, they showed me the prescription, it was a fucking nightmare ever since then. Then it led to me getting fucking disciplinaries and getting fucking sacked and all. Like they just put me through the ringer that they had to put me through before they could sack me. And I just know for a fact it was for getting stoned, because they shouted at me for going out. You're not supposed to be like leave a building on your brakes, and I absolutely was trying to get it fucking, had to go to this company to get it all fucking set up. And I was like, fuck this, like I haven't actually been medicated all day. I'm gonna go down to the shop on my break, grab a munch, have a wee smoke and come back in. And the only reason why I got a wee munch is because if I wake up the first thing in the morning, try getting stoned and tell me that your stomach doesn't go a bit fucking funny, because you'll be fucking starving. And then I got my munch into me and all, and the boss seen me in the shop, who was also doing the same fucking thing that I was doing, just out for a wee fucking munch and a wee smoke and all. Went up the stairs, and then they were like, boom, that's it, and fucking sacked me for it.
But see, that's discrimination, because what if someone's taking opioids? Do you mean, see, as long as that's not affecting your performance and work, then it shouldn't come into play. If it's affecting your performance and work, and it's a different ballgame, then they could analyse it. But if they can't prove that's affecting your performance and work, then that's discrimination, because otherwise it should be doing the same way everybody that's on any type of prescription.
And it was actually the opposite, because when
probably enhances your performance.
I was in on the disciplinary, I wasn't able to go out and wasn't able to fucking smoke the way I was able to in the home. So my stats and all my fucking things were going down, and they were like, see, like fucking you've got a disciplinary and you're still not getting better. I'm like, yeah, because I'm not allowed to fucking go out for a fucking smoke.
They can't focus.
I'm sitting here fucking pissed off all day. Like,
yeah, I can't focus because I haven't got medication. It's common sense.
100%. Well, I'm gonna wrap up that wee segment there, and then I'm gonna roll another joint, and then we'll get straight back in with fucking segment 2. Because that means I can check our camera and make sure it's still set. Because sometimes the focus falls off and getting our proper camera.
I was doing the plug in Amsterdam. So we're working at and with different views of getting closer to legalisation. I think some people do things that damage us getting closer to decriminalisation, and some people do things to help us get closer.
Well, that's
I think rubbing the peelers' noses in it and stuff, and it's
like
taking you backwards.
Yeah, I being a dick about
it. There's a you want it to be seen that we're not doing any harm, and we're not causing any harm, and we're not causing any conflict or any, do you know what I mean? I think that all matters, mate. And I think with consuming and well, certainly with me promoting, I have a duty of care. Do you know what I mean? And with promoting cannabis, I have a duty of care of that.
Oh, you actually need to be
I need to evolve this industry at every step I can, and I don't want to do anything to damage it and take it backwards.
Right, I'll get a wee second of silence. 3, 2, 1. Right, fucking back into it. I'm not gonna lie to you, so I needed the roll of joints and I didn't want to fuck up with the whole thing, so I didn't. But we're back. I want to get into the second segment, which is about just the reality, because the main thing I want this podcast to be about is, because when you watch them all, it's all about the glamour side of things, and about how I just bought all these and sold all these and then boom, I'm a millionaire, and like they make it all sound fucking like a piece of piss. Like, I want the real fucking truths about the industry that you're in and about what makes it hard, because like I know for me, as being someone that's creative, the biggest issue that we have is that the work's always very inconsistent. It's never you're working like fucking this month, because over the last couple of months I've been fucking flat out getting all sorts of work in at the minute, but then I know in about fucking 6 months time it's probably going to be dry for another 6 months after that, you know what I mean? So
that's a lot of self-employment in general, but there's never a steady flow, it's up and down.
And you just have to just have to pick something that you're good enough at to like stay in the fucking green more than you are in the red. Like that's just sort of
like I was in our industries before self-employed. It was the same. It was ups and downs. There was never a balance. But this is very different, this industry, because you've so much against you in this industry. Do you know, like the algorithm and stuff. Like I haven't been able to advertise anything on Facebook since 2018 because they advertised CBD and they shut down my advertising account. I've wrote multiple emails. I've had phone calls and everything from Meta phoning me to try and sort this out, and I get nowhere. And it's just down to advertising CBD. It fucking blows my mind.
Which is something that's not even illegal. It's something that you can buy in.
And it was totally legal at the time, do you know what I mean?
90% of the countries in the world.
Blows my mind, but yet if you're a big conglomerate, you can buy your way past this sort of thing. I mean, you have all the big companies advertising away there.
I know 100%, but
that's the bit that really makes me struggle with this industry.
But then I suppose as well, when you look up on the higher end of the scale, it is companies like Meta that would only really benefit off of big companies. Anyway, it's supposed to be fair, like. But yeah, so the first question is, what's the biggest challenge that you face in your day-to-day operations within the industry?
To be fair, that's probably the biggest challenge I do face, is getting out there. I mean, I've been in this industry legally since 2017. From CBD was made legal, I was straight into the industry. And from then I've found trouble advertising, like I say, on Meta and any other social, and trying to get out there. And again, bank accounts, you want to open a bank account or CBD business, high risk, has to go online. Everything, you want a card merchant, you want someone to take credit cards on your website, high risk. So you can't just get anybody that takes any sort of card merchant that will take normal payments on any website. No, you have to go for a high risk one. So you have to pay more, you have to show them your books, you have to put so many things in place to try and get this.
So you can't even just get like a fucking regular sum up?
No.
That's mad.
At this stage of the game, yes, this is mental at this stage of the game.
Back in 2017,
back in 2017, I understand a wee bit. If you know what I'm saying, still like that now, but which is mental. But back then it was understandable because it was a new industry. But see now at this stage again, for people like that still to be turning down cannabis industries, it blows my mind.
Yeah, I think it's just one of them things where I just don't understand where did the live and let live go? Because like the way that people are like, he wants to have a fucking few toots on the weekend and all, sure he's not doing any harm and all. Then when someone whips out a bag of green, that is a wee bit different. You're like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
That's it, but again, that's a stigma again. Like, you look at the majority of population now, there's a fucking high majority of population use coke every day. But yet, it's not discriminated against, because that's seen as, it's actually sadly seen as normal by a lot of society, especially hard-working high industries like chefs and things like that. Yep. It's just seen as normality. You mean, but yet weed's very different. Why? Because you can smell it.
I've worked in a couple of kitchens and they really do, and opioids are fucking prominent in
another
kitchens
big problem,
as well. So it is, because I think a lot of chefs as well, because
under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, when you work in the kitchen for a long enough amount of time, you sort of get sick once or twice. And then you have to come in because it's busy anyway, and then you sort of get the level of sick where you're just never actually better, and you just sort of like stay sick for like ages. You're like a fucking certain level of sick and you're like, I feel like shit, and that's just sort of the way you stay like. And then that's why, because when you're in the kitchen as well, it's just a fast-paced environment, and then you just see the boys disappear to the fucking toilet, and you know that they're going for a wee poo, and then they'll end up taking a few rubbers to bring them back down because they're too up.
But that's socially acceptable. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's
what the issue is.
That's the issue. That's socially acceptable, but yet consuming weed for medication at this stage of the game still isn't.
Yeah, and that's something that I don't really understand, because you're just smoking something. It's like the same as a fag, but it gives me a wee giggle. It's not like...
Same as a fag, but it's safer.
Yeah, because it's not going to kill you, and then you get the fucking habits like me that'll put a bit of tobacco in it sometimes. But then I think, because I'm sure I'll fucking rips you clean up too, like, so it does. I'm sure it really fucking
it's
does.
Like blasphemy, like.
Well then let's talk about some fucking, because there is different types of fucking blasphemy, but you know what, the one that really gets me, and I'm sure it fucking pisses you off a lot more, pisses me off, because it makes me angry, because I see it all the time, See the ones in America that do like fucking roach blunts and all.
Yeah.
Fuck me.
Filthy,
mate. That's
just
absolutely
filthy, mate.
disgusting.
I'm as making this as clean and natural a medication as you can. I'm always about that. No matter whether I'm creating products for somebody or whether I'm just consuming, I always want it to be as clean as it can.
But what do you think for? Because like me personally, I do just enjoy it together. Like I enjoy that fucking mix. Like if I had the choice between rolling a joint and smoking a blunt. Well, a blunt, when I say a blunt, I mean like just all green.
Right,
Because that's obviously not a blunt, like, but you know what I mean?
Yes,
I would rather smoke a joint, I just enjoy it more.
Okay.
Do you think that fucking, would that be something that you're like, that's just wrong?
No, look, I get that. I know 2 or 3 people that are close friends that consume like that. They don't use a lot of tobacco, but they use a wee split along it just to give a wee bit of difference. And I understand that, and it's brilliant. Look, it's changed the effects of cannabis too. That's what you enjoy, then that's so be it. Do you know what I mean? It's different when someone's piling in 80% tobacco and 20% weed. You're murdering the weed. That's blasphemy. Do you know what I mean? But when someone's adding a bit to complement it, if that's the case, and that benefits them more, they feel more of a benefit from the medication that way, then so be it. Do you know what I mean? I'm not here to discriminate at the end of the day. I'm here to judge if you're fucking, do you know what I mean, overusing your fucking tobacco or your weed, but I'm not here to judge anybody. I mean, what people,
like
people want to consume their weeds down to them, do you know what I mean? I'm here to educate, and like I say, spray packs and stuff, that's my goal, is to educate people on dirty weed, spice weed, tainted.
What do you think about
packs.
the flavoured weed? Because I don't think that'll ever hit our neck of the woods the way it has in New York. Because in New York you can get like coloured and like
that's filthy.
You can buy weed
that's purple and fucking it's all sprayed pink weed and all,
and not even just that. They're the normal weed, and they'll be like, this is
synthetic,
like,
mate. It's all synthetic. Everything's turned synthetic. I mean, since Delta 8 came along, things have started turning more synthetic.
So what is Delta 8? What is the whole crack with that? Because everyone always talks about the Delta 8 carts and fucking
right. Delta 8 and Delta 9 are very similar. In compound and makeup, there's only one isomer different in makeup of them, so there's very different looking at them as regards molecules. But as regards feeling, THC is like 9 times stronger than THC 8. Okay, so Delta 8 would be like a Bud Light of the weed world, right?
Right.
In comparison to sort of THC Delta 9 is your high strong beer, right. Your Bud Light. That's the way it works. So Delta 8 will give you what you call the high that you're chasing. It'll bring that on a bit, but it'll not get you to an uncomfortable high. To see where people whitey and stuff, you can never get that with Delta 8. It won't bring that uncomfortable high. You can't get to that level.
It's not geared enough.
But Delta 9 is driven to do that. You know what I mean? That's a very big difference between the two. But Delta 8 naturally derives in the plant in minimal amounts, so it is there. It's not like HHC and all these other, they're synthetic cannabinoids. They're very different. Delta 8 does occur in the plant, so you can extract it from the plant, but most Delta 8 is crashed in the lab from CBD. They'll get a CBD isolate and crash it in the lab to create Delta 8. So that's how most Delta 8's made. But it does naturally occur in the plant, so it's not a synthetic cannabinoid, where HHC and things like that are synthetic cannabinoids.
Well, that's an argued thing to touch on as well, because when I went to Spain, obviously in Spain there's good weed culture in Spain. I love
very much so.
I love weed in Spain. Spanish weed's nice, like, but when I was there, I went into the cannabis shop just because it was the first one I seen. It's fucking kitted out to the nines with the stereotypical stoner stuff, the weed leaves all over it and all. So I was like, first one to call me, I went in and I was like, right, gives a gram of something. She was like, €20 for the fucking gelato, and I was like, right, but like the way she was getting on about it, she just didn't seem very genuine. And I was like, this is weed, but like get me stoned, like get me stoned, like it's not like me stoned though, like it's not like tourist weed, like it's like weed. And she was like, yeah, no, this is what it is, and it was facing where the hotel was, so I fucking took it back and rolled a joint and all. And like I paid €20 for a gelato flavoured headache. It was fucking, my head was so sore, man, it actually really was.
Right, synthetic cannabis.
So it's not even real.
No, synthetic. I mean, see the amount of weed now that's sprayed, whether it be sprayed with terpenes, whether it be sprayed with spice or contaminants. It's sprayed to put the weight up. That's where it all started. It started spraying weed years ago.
I sprayed the weight up. Brick and all,
fiberglass and all sorts of shit was in weed years ago. You
Fucking
had to test it for all time. I remember rubbing
right.
weed on CDs to see if it was tinted or not. The best way we could find ever said fiberglass or sand in it. When I first tested weed done years ago. But then it's changed now. It's not, they're not doing it for weight anymore. They're doing it to create hype. So they're doing it for flavours and hits. Do you know what I mean? So all these spray packs have all the fake terpenes sprayed on them. All these Cali packs, I guarantee you 90% of the Cali packs in the country are spray packs. I mean, there's people actually focusing on it now in America, thankfully, in the end. 6 months ago nobody was talking about it. Now you've got a couple of companies that are actually focusing on educating people on the spray packs and how rife they are and how much of it there is. I mean, you can actually, you see at my podcast page on Instagram, there's an actual machine you can buy now. I put this post up, must be 30 years ago, and there's an actual machine you buy, you put your weed in and it sprays it, and the really rave about how good it does it. It sprays it right throughout the whole plant, so it's consistent through, you break it, it still smells, and this is what they hype about, as if it's a good thing. You know what I mean? But it's just fake terpenes. They're spraying the plant to sell shitty product.
Altering your
yeah.
fucking
So you could have any shittiest the weed, as long as it looks good. Throw it in the machine, spray pack, that's it. It's up the road, and it's, next minute you're selling it for twice the money that good quality weed's selling for.
And then, because that's one thing you notice when you get onto the medical market and you get your first couple of tubs, you hold it in your hand and you feel and you handle the lugs and stuff, and you're like,
you know it's clean flower.
Yeah, you're like, weed's not what I thought it was.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because it's just a bit different in terms of like the buds are never that rock tight.
No, that's PGR. I mean, PGR's been on rife in the industry for fucking years, and that's another thing that sticks in my throat. Hate PGRs, but people are just pumping the plants full of it to try. I mean, and it hasn't actually occurred in PGRs, the plant stuff. It's alright to give it a wee bit, but see what they're pumping the amount of it in now, it's pathetic. It's just to really increase flavour and increase that density to where your flower just looks like a brick. Nobody wants a flower like that, but the kids that buy hype do, because that's what they're showing in America.
Well, as a fucking kid that buys hype, I don't know what the fuck they've been putting in weed for the last fucking load of years, but do you think some of it's fucking great? Because I don't know what it is, but I've been enjoying the product. And then the only actual issue that I have with medical weed, because I've fucking plenty of issues with fucking street weed and normal weed, I think you get 101 issues. The only one issue that I have with the actual medical weed is that I just find that it's too dry to smoke a joint with, but then I also think that it's not made to be combusted as well.
Right, okay. I have a few different things to say about that. The first thing would be that, yes, I would say a year ago, for sure I would have agreed with you, 100%, because it was, by the time it gets here, most of the good stuff is coming from Canada. So by the time it gets transported and moved, and then it gets repackaged in another country for some reason to change the date, and then by the time we repackage it, it's a fresh 6 months on the pack, so you think it's only packaged then, but it wasn't. It was packaged a year and a half ago. So by the time it actually gets here, it's maybe 2 years old. That's one of the reasons it's all too sort of dry for a start. But see, now the industry's changed that much, and with British growers and stuff, and with the industry ramping up so much and people wanting to get into UK formulary, they're starting to bring fire, they're starting to bring fresh fire now.
Because there's been a load of big changes to the medical menu over like a recent load of
6 months has been drastic as regards quality. Quality has come on the last 6 months, mind blowing. There's been a lot of sort of small batch craft Canadian companies coming on. There's UK glass farms. There's so much real good fire there that is quality medicine.
And it's one of those ones as well. I don't think people understand when people think about getting the medical cannabis. It's one of those things as well. You can shop to your price range. It's not one. People always be like, how much is it? It's as much as you want it to be. You can't. It's as long as a piece of string is. Like, it's one of those ones where if you only want to be spending, say, like fucking £70-80 on it a month, right, no swag, get yourself fucking 10 grams out there. Or no, if you're like, I want to have all different flavours, daytime smoke, nighttime smoke, and all the full shebang, then here fucking work away. You can end up spending fucking a couple grand if you really want to spend a couple grand, like, or you can. It
is what you make it, and that's what I like about the medical industry. It is what you make it. Do you know what I mean? You can cater your medicine to where you know you're getting what you like. It's not that when we're all buying black market in the streets for so many years, you don't know what you were buying to. You're this is fucking Skittles. Is it Skittles?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Is it not? Yes. When you're experienced like us and you've been smoking strains for years, you can go, yeah, that's Skittles, or no, that's fucking haze. Do you know what I mean? But when someone's trying to sell you a cushion that comes across smelling like a haze, you're like, nah, mate. But see, people that are uneducated, they're just out there on sweet. And then if they're after a kush because it relaxes them and they get a haze, their anxiety's off the fucking charts, and it's gone.
Yeah.
Same thing that happened to me years ago. Same sort of idea.
That's sort of how I figured out that like what people give you isn't fucking always what it says on the tin, because when you smoke something and you're like, nah, I've smoked that before and it's sweet, and then you smoke it and it's completely different effect, and then you're like, right, I know that that's not what it fucking says on the tin, because I wouldn't be feeling this
Which is common as hell now, do you know what I mean? And that's one thing I like about the medical, because you know what you're getting.
Well, do you know what I done? And I'll give you a fucking laugh. It'll give you a fucking laugh. You know what I smoked the joint of the other day, just for pure banter purposes alone, just to see what the crack was with it? I smoked like joint of dog. I did, just for the banter. Just for the banter.
You can only smoke dog for banter.
I don't fucking smoke the joint of dog, and like,
it's the dirtiest weed in the world.
It wasn't even a fucking.
It's not even that the strain. That's the strain. It's just because it's what they hide everything in there.
I don't like the strain, because when we were in the Bulldog, I seen that they had Blue Star Dog. I didn't want to buy any weed in Bulldog because I heard it was shite. I was like, I'm not really fussed. Got a house joint for a tenner. Best fucking pre-roll bought when I was over there, to be honest. It was all fake tobacco and like barely any house, but fuck me, the wee cabbage like. But the Blue Star Dog was disgusting. It was just all chest and no like, there was no gas to it, but the chest was aching as if I smoked the gassiest joint in my life. But that joint, the dog I smoked the other day, I wasn't even a big joint too, and fuck me, I was absolutely buckled like, and then I just thought to myself, I was like, be mad if you knew what was in this, you probably wouldn't be smoking a joint for a dog.
Dog is a heavy strain. I mean, Quebec's dog years ago came across the first one years ago. It was a heavy strain. It was real gassy and a wee bit chesty. But see now, because it's got that gas and that heaviness, they can hide everything in it. So it's just Spice Dog most of the time, or lacing it with spice, or lacing it with all sorts of shit. And that's how they get away with it. And that's all the Albanians and stuff, just lacing it with. Not that we're sort of discriminating in any sort of race, but it's a lot of Albanians and Chinese spraying this shit.
But when it comes to drugs and stuff like that, it usually is fucking going country to country, but it usually is there's a production company and then there's fucking other countries that get them and all. It was the same way before cocaine. It came from Colombia. Like,
exactly right, that's what I mean. It always comes, it starts somewhere. The hype and the sort of, the sort of trait comes from somewhere, do you know what I mean, every time.
Yeah, and I think when it comes to when you're buying street weed as well, I don't think people know how to protect themselves in terms of like knowing what you're buying and stuff like that there, especially when people are just starting to smoke cannabis and they are getting street weed. I don't think you get a load of stuff like that there being able just to turn to the medical market, because I've actually got a wee mate, he's 18, and he was saying to me about like, I'm going to start smoking weed, and I find it so funny because he's grew up in a world where he can turn 18 and then just be start
consuming legally.
I'm just going to go get a legal prescription and never
really had to battle it.
He'd never have the experience of seeing the police and having green on being like, oh shit. He'd never have the experience of smoking a few bonds down an entry. Like when you put it into perspective, like, cause I'm only 4 years older than him.
Fucking that's nuts.
About to be 5 years older than him, guts off, like realistically, like, and
that wee gap can change so much, like, yeah.
But then I started smoking weed too young as well, and this is another thing I wanted to ask you, just out of my own personal fear. So see the way all the studies be like, you're gonna get fucking schizophrenic, you're fucking up your brain when you're smoking weed from so young. How true is that, and how serious do you think that actually is?
I think it was all sort of reefer madness. I think it stemmed from reefer madness that created the demonised weed.
And reefer madness, is that what you mean when they changed the branding of it, made it marijuana and fucking...
Yes, that's the whole thing, and they realised people are making money off hemp fibre and stuff, so they just wanted to ban the plant outright. So as they couldn't make money of the fibre, they couldn't use the plant for medicine. Big Pharma was going to suffer that way. So there's so many big industries that suffer through cannabis being decriminalised and legalised. And that's what they really don't want, is a decriminalisation. That's where we want to head long term. Yeah. I mean, we all want decriminalisation. We want to be treated like anything else. I mean, why can't we grow a weed plant like we grow a fucking tomato plant and have adult responsibility of how we use it?
Yeah, well, one thing that you did say to me in the break that I thought was fucking class was, how long was it within the next year or two do you think that we would probably be able to get?
I think within the next year or two we should hopefully be able to get ready to grow for home for medical patients, up to 4 plants, I think. There's a lot of sort of protests and things pushing towards it, and a lot of groups pushing towards it, and they have heard about it in Parliament, they've listened to it, they haven't agreed to it yet, but I do think that's the direction we're heading, to where they will let certain patients look after their own meds if they want to, because not every patient's going to be bothered by hassling it.
And this is what it is as well, and then also fucking, you can still charge the rate, like, because
because if they're still doing a good job of what they're doing, then why wouldn't people still go buy it? And it's not that if say for talk's sake they say, right, you're allowed to grow 4, so I decide to grow 4 plants, it's really good for anxiety, that's great, but then I want to relax some weekends, so I want something sort of really go get me that relaxation, that heaviness, that comfort and feeling that indica strain that I'm not growing, then I still go get a bit of medical. See what I mean? So the industry not suffer totally. And like I say, not everybody will grow their own. There's very few, I think, will grow their own.
Just creates a bit of self-sufficiency. I would definitely be fucking...
It's not that. When you grow your own medicine, you can put the passion in it, you know it's done right. You know what I mean? You know exactly what it's had from start to finish. And
then the next thing that we'll jump on to, what's something about running your business that you think people on the outside wouldn't expect?
The long hours, the lack of holidays, and the lack of sick pay.
100%, and the lack of appreciation.
There's that too. There's that one on the top, just sugar-coated.
Fuck's sake, no, I 100% feel that one, because I think that's one of the questions that's probably just going to have the same answer from everyone I have on here.
Anybody that's experienced with being self-employed for long enough, there's no fucking doubt. No doubt. That is what it is. People are like, oh, you're self-employed, must be so great. It's so great if you haven't experienced it. When you've experienced it and you see the
Yeah.
work involved, they're constantly having to do something because your mind doesn't stop.
Yeah, you
You
can't
know what I
just
mean? You
sit
don't
in the
shut
house
off at
and
9 to 5.
come
No,
on.
none of us do.
Yeah.
No matter what game you're in, self-employed, you don't shut off. That's it. You go to bed, you're lying thinking what do you have to do tomorrow, what the next day entails, and
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? And what I have to do to organise things, get things in process, and that never stops.
It's the admin. For me, the admin's a balls when it comes to like, when it comes to fucking steering your own ship and running your own fucking
Admin
business,
gets
like,
me too, but evolving gets me too because everything's evolving so quick. See now with social media and all this AI and everything else, the things are evolving so quick. It's so hard to keep up. And for me, in the industry I'm in, I have to struggle to keep up, and I have to study every week anyway to keep up with the plant's doing and what's new with the plant and what research is coming with the plant. So that's hard enough for me to keep up and evolve. Never mind keep up and evolve with social media trends and everything else and videos and all this nonsense I have to keep up with. And it's only one person behind all this. For at the end of the day, people don't get that with me. I don't know why I think I run some sort of industry or what, but it's me doing everything here.
But, and this is the thing though, and this is why I always say as well, this is why everyone calls you a fucking doctor, and this is why everyone thinks you run fucking industries and all, because you just, the things that you do, like the fucking, help develop this fucking yoke, because I've been sitting working away on this is class, like I could fucking well smoke these over free. You know, because you would rather one of these, and it's not like when you smoke, like you smoke Lost Marys and all, and like you just get like a fucking throat full of
Chinese chemicals.
A throat full of sugar, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I think that's why, for one man, you've got such like a, I don't know how to describe it, it's such like a well-respected fucking foothold in the industry. Like I would say that your say-so would have like a lot of weight in terms of like, if you say that a product's fucking not worth your while looking at it, I would say that a lot of people just wouldn't look at it.
I
Like,
appreciate that because that's what I've fought to get to where I am doing what
well,
I do, do you know what I mean? There's no doubt.
well, this is what it is. If I see you being like, it's fucking load of hype, don't fucking bad. Like, I am a wee hype kid that loves hype. Like, I probably shouldn't bad. Like, do you know what I mean? But we'll go on to the next wee one here. Can you share a moment when you thought about giving up? Because everyone has the moment where they'll be like, fuck, I don't want to do this. And then, can you let me know as well what kept you going?
That is a hard one because there's different ways to look at it. Let's say I was near ready for giving up a couple of times, banging my head on the wall trying to get somewhere with advertising and stuff and not being able to promote anything I do. Do you know what I mean? I just couldn't promote a single thing and it was all legal. And when you're doing something legal and you're trying to help people, it's fucking frustrating when you can't get reach. Do you know what I mean? And that's the hardest bit for me, is getting reach. It's always been the hardest bit for me.
Getting actually out there to multiple eyes and actually being able
That's
to
always been the hardest bit for me, is getting that reach, because it's not a problem doing what I do and educating people and putting the word out. That's all in my head. I've studied this for all my life.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I fucking don't know how many exams I've done in cannabis. So the work's there, the education's here, the knowledge is here. I just need the reach, and to be honest, there's times where I bang my head out, well, I can't get this fucking reach, so I'm just near ready to fucking give it up. And that's probably one of the main things that ever pushes me towards giving it up, to be honest. Or when you're sitting talking with struggling cancer patients, times they gets hard. Do you know what I mean? And you're trying to do everything you can to help, and sometimes you can't do everything that you know you can do to help. I mean, times they gets frustrating too. But mostly, I'll be honest, is that whole reach with social and stuff is getting out there.
Trying to actually
because
get the name and the
you've
brand
so many,
out there.
and again, getting bank accounts, getting payment merchants to take credit cards on your website, all that sort of thing had me at a point where it was like, is this fucking worth it?
Because it seems like on your journey through business that you've just been fucking just like blocked at every normal business door that you should be able to go down, like even just down to the fundamentals of setting up a business account and fucking.
That's exactly it, mate. And that, you've hit the nail on the head, and that's the frustration. That's my biggest frustration in this industry, mate. There's no doubt. It's just every door is shut that you have to try and kick open. People just open them with their hand. I have to try and kick them open.
You have to fucking force your way through. Well, this is where I think that you'll do well when it comes to the social media side of things, if you just keep doing the content the way that you're doing, because just to see someone no nonsense be like, listen, this is a load of shit, but this here is good and all that there. That's why when it comes to your type of content, I go straight to it and be like, right, Dr. Lee says so. That's just the way I look at it. Like, and then as a business owner throughout the time that you've run your business, because you've done multiple different ventures as well, obviously CannaHelp, and then even just fucking, I still can't go over this to be honest, like, but I'll get them with questions because I'm just going off on a ramble. What's one of the proudest moments that you've had as a business owner to date?
The CannaHelp brand, there's no doubt. That's my baby. It's always been my baby. I mean, I've done another brand with another guy for 3 years, and at the start I felt he wouldn't have the passion I had for what I was doing. It was just more about money. and I was apprehensive going into that deal, and I was apprehensive 3 or 4 times before I actually did go in and seal the deal and create the other brand with them. But there just wasn't the drive I wanted behind the brand. I couldn't take it where I wanted to take it. So when I sat down and created CannaHelp, that's my proudest moment of creating that, because I've just got, but from the thought of the logo and what the logo means to everything else, it's just perfect for me. Do you know what I mean?
Everything
everything
about
the way I
that,
want it.
baby, like,
It's a top quality. Every product works. Every product's top quality, and they've all got the appeal. Do you know what I mean? Everything looks top quality as well as feeling it.
Well, this is it, because there's a load of CBD products that I do. I think, to be honest, I think CBD is one of them industries where a majority of it is
Rubbish.
just a load of shit.
80% of it's rubbish, and that's why I get into the CBD industry.
Because I used to always laugh as well. I used to always say with the MG on CBD stuff meant micrograms.
Because I used to sell CBD before I created it. I was always selling stuff I knew wasn't the best I could do, because we were just using isolates, and that's why I wanted to start creating product in the first place.
Oh, and you wanted to do your own thing, and actually...
I knew I could do better. I just knew I could do better from the education I had. I knew they were only putting stuff on the shelves to make money.
And then this is another thing I think just ruins the industry as well, because it's like, say if you were to go to buy a bottle of beer, but they're only putting they're putting 3.5% alcohol in it, but you knew they were putting the biggest pile of shit in it on purpose. You wouldn't actually drink it, because I know people would laugh and be like, but you buy cheap vodka and all that there, but you're like, yeah, no, but they make it from fucking spuds and put it in and make an actual palatable fucking vodka, like 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
But if they were to start fucking spraying them potatoes with fucking cotton candy smells and then all this extra bollocks, like, would you still be enjoying it the same? And to be honest, I think some people still would, but the same way with me and the fucking Cali Packs. I still love a wee Cali Pack now and again. Like, I think, when it's your birthday, treat yourself.
Like, we've all got our own things, you know what I mean? I get that, I totally get that, mate.
It's just one of them ones. I think it's dead funny the way everyone has so many different tastes. That's why I always like to compare it to coffee as well, because there's so many.
It's a good way to compare it. I compare it to food a lot of the time, but it's the same thing. Do you know what I mean? It's very comparable. At the end of the day, you have to remember your coffee's got terpenes in it, your food's got terpenes in it. Do you know what I mean? So you can compare it to these sort of things.
Yeah. Well, we're getting into the fucking. This is the best segment for me, because I think this is the segment that's going to set this wee show apart from the other shows, because just gets into the real questions. There's third segments: money, growth, and practical advice. So this is where I'm going to get into just the real things that no one asks you about, in terms of, like, no one ever asks about finance. When the fuck did they be struggling? Like, how many times have you had to fucking be like, I'm going to have to do a U-turn here because I'm fucking about to hit zero? Because when them comedy shows, there's been many a night where fucking, there was nights where we've lost hundreds, and then fucking there's nights where you're down well over $1,000 and you're like, it's
experience. You have to put that down to
all,
experience.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to take
your experience isn't always free
to get somewhere. Like, so my first question would be, what's been your biggest learning curve when it comes to managing your finances?
That is a good question, isn't it? Don't overindulge in anything in life. Do you know what I mean?
I think in the fucking weed industry, it's fucking hard to overindulge.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's you have that too. I mean, I'm looking at formularies every day with fucking hundreds of strains on them. People order these strains every day through me. It's like, right, okay, I'm handling repeat prescriptions daily, and it's like, that sounds nice. Do you mean? But again, I have to have discipline, and discipline's a big thing in business. And discipline's a big thing in general, but 100%. Especially in business too. When it comes to buying and selling things, like, you have to keep putting back in. It's like, I wouldn't have created the products I've created if I didn't keep putting back in. If I created one of my happy days, let's start spending money, then I wouldn't be anywhere. Anything came in from first product, went straight into create the second, came straight into create the third, came straight into create the fourth, and that's how you build a business. Do you know what I mean? Rather than just going, there's money and let's fucking use it, because it's not for it, it's for building the business.
Well, this is it, because fucking people will always ask me and be like, how much do you get paid? Or like, fucking, when I got this space and started doing it up and all, how do we make it? And I go, so you're fucking minted now and all. And I was like, you don't understand that, like, as soon as you take on something new on, you're the most skint you've ever been in your entire life, because it all just goes into it. Everything you have, every fucking. And
especially self-employment, because like I say, people don't get, you don't get sick pay, you don't get holiday pay. So where's that come from? So you have to figure out those things too, do you know what I mean? So it's not just because you're self-employed doesn't mean, one, you've got an easy ride, number two, you've got easy finance, because it's either or.
Because it's very, very rare as well that a business is, you just set it up and it just takes off. It's very, very rare. I think people sort of see business the way people see crypto, where like, you just stick a few quid in and then away it goes.
It's definitely not like that, and it's only rare that will happen, and that's the same as like an algorithm. Something hits viral, bang, it goes viral. That's it. That's one thing is all it takes, and it's the same way in business. If you get that one opportunity at the right place, at the right time, it can change everything.
And I think every business, every industry has its variables. Where I think in music, I look at it like a pie chart. Like music, the chance of fucking success is like fucking paper thin in terms of striking the algorithm. Where I think, like for example, like food in Belfast, you can ping that no sweat. That's fucking wide open field. Like there's also room for, or like comedy as well, wide open field. There's also fucking room for comedians, like, you know what I mean? But I do think as well in certain industries, especially in the cannabis industry, it's something that people just have no knowledge about here. And I think it obviously is, as you keep saying, it's about that no one can advertise it. No one
Such a hard industry to survive in. That's what I'm saying. Like any other self-employment business, you've got all your normal struggles, but on top of your normal struggles, you've got the struggles to try and get out there with the cannabis that are against you.
Well, that's what I actually found quite fucking shocking as well, because it's the fundamentals that you're getting blocked in, which is the thing that I find fucking disgusting, because you kind of expect in the cannabis industry you're going to have to fucking be like, no, we're not like fucking any of these companies are trying to do bad things to people, it's not a drug and X, Y, and Z. You sort of expect to have that fucking bit of a fight anyway.
Yeah.
But then they have to fucking be denied like a business account and fucking...
Oh, I mean, to start my 2017, my first 6 months, I had PayPal on my website, and they mustn't have realised that it was no website, because after 6 months they shut me down and kept my money. I held it for 6 months. They're like, oh, you're running the cannabis business. Like, no, I'm running the CBD business. Yeah, it's cannabis. It's like, no, it's CBD, it's legal here. Yeah. Oh no, we understand that, but it's not legal in our country. No, it is. You're not American. Oh no, but it's not legal. That's just the way it is. And that was it. Kept my money for 6 months. And then I struggled to get a payment merchant, so I had no way to pay for anything on my website. And my website's sitting there, but you could only do bank transfer. You want to buy something? It's mind blowing, like.
It's just one of them things you don't, because people always talk about how things are corrupt and how industries like fucking are all behind the scenes, all fucked up. But then it's rare that you actually get to see it with your own eyes and get to hear such a fucking close to home example of it as well. And then it's just one of them ones. It puts it into perspective the way that people demonise cannabis in the system, because it seems more like a systemic issue than just the day-to-day people on the street. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, there's no doubt it is. It's a whole system as a whole. But I think because cannabis damages big pharma so much too, you have to look at that perspective as well.
And then this is another good question, because I think we'll end up getting someone on this along the lines where we'll not actually be able to answer this question. How did you fund your business at the start, and has that changed as you've grown?
I funded the business at the start with, mostly with savings and help from friends and family. I didn't get any big loans or nothing. I started small and built myself up.
Yeah.
That's how I done it. I created as good a name as I could from the start to make sure that would always stand by me, and Cannahealthcare would always stand by me.
Prioritise your reputation
and
first.
I think that's key. After that, like you say, reputation came secondary. That had to be, I had to create the reputation that's going to bring the business along.
Yeah.
And I think putting myself out there is what's done that in the end. I didn't do it at the start, obviously. I was sort of still behind the scenes. But as time went on over the years with the business, I put myself out more, and then I've started a podcast and I've really put myself out there now. But again, that was really hard for me with having anxiety naturally. Yeah. I mean, that first time in front of the camera.
And I think, do you know what as well? I think it's harder when you're on your own, because when I was in here for the first time recording a video myself, I felt dead weird.
You do.
But then like the day I was down doing fucking motion capture and was dressed in like a fucking mocap suit in front of a couple of fucking, well, they're not strangers because I've met them a few times before, but like they're people you don't actually know like that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And you're fucking, you have to like dance about and all like a fucking dickhead, and you're like, this is mad. But that there I find a lot easier than to sit on my own and record a video as well.
That's what I'm saying, it is hard on your own, and you're always judgmental of yourself. It's just, I mean, and then you're looking back at yourself and going, don't like this, don't like that. So that's hard to deal with too. So it is hard to put yourself out there nicely. And I say, with having anxiety naturally, it just made it so much harder. But once the first video got out, it started rolling, do you know what I mean? Because I mean, I done the podcast initially with a guy that knows absolutely nothing about cannabis. And that was the reason we done it, because it was a good perspective to talk with him about it, because he knew nothing, and I was a great perspective to just sit and talk to someone who knew nothing at all about it.
I would love to do a video where I would get someone that has never smoked cannabis and is against it to smoke cannabis with someone that has been.
Well, I'll join you if you can find somebody that's up for it.
Well, see, I think I very well could find somebody, and I think
worst come to worst, and they get a bad experience, I can help them out with a bit of CBD and bring them back to normal.
This is it, and bring them back to life. Well, see, you know what? We'll talk about this after then, because no, that's a good idea, and I'll be able to put that together in no sweat. But I think we'll go on to the next question, which is: do you think that people underestimate the financial side of running a business, and what things in your industry do you think cause certain strains on your business financially?
Suppose unexpected things for me, because I mean things can go wrong, creating products and things and developing products and things. Maybe I develop it and I don't get what I want the first time, so that's wasted money.
And you do it all over again.
It's not. It's a time involved. Obviously, that time has to come away from other things I could be doing. But then you've obviously the money put into the product that you developed, and then all the samples you've handed out, whatnot too, and the weeks of work. That'll, if it doesn't work, you're back to square one.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong, I've been quite fortunate with CannaHelp, but the brand before that, it took me a few goes to get just exactly the feedback I wanted. I was getting good feedback, but I want really good feedback when I'm putting the product out.
Yeah,
it works for everybody, mate. And that's just
because you're a perfectionist with your products as well, because it shows in the final product. Because even I gave my granny because I think that's who has the balm now. Because I've let her use the balm before, and just the feedback that she gives was much. It was like, I know, I feel sweet.
The products broke stigma with so many people I know.
Mm-hmm.
And see, because I've always done free college, the houses from 2017, I go out to granny's houses and educate them in this. They're just shuffling you in the house quietly. And you go in with your stuff and you talk away, and then see by the time you educate them on the endocannabinoid system in your body and you walk out, they're like, hey, free the weed, see you later. The whole perspective just changes in cannabis, and that's probably my most uplifting moments when that happens to me all the time. When I change people's perspective, that's the payoff. Apart from helping people's my main goal. When I can change people's lives, and someone's phoned me and said, listen, my daughter's back to school after 3 weeks. She couldn't go to school for 3 weeks now, she's taking your oil, she's back to school, she's loving it. Those moments are what I do this for, but there's no doubt about that.
Well, that's how I learned that medical cannabis even existed, because it was my wee brother that was prescribed the cannabis, and what age was he? I think he was only like 12 or 13 if even, but he would have like fucking, what's the words? Like he would have like fits and all, not epilepsy. But yeah, he would have like fucking, was it like catatonia and stuff like that there, and like fucking schizophrenia and all.
Right,
so
okay.
like, they would give him wee distillate syringes,
right.
And he'd take a mill here and there. And I remember getting home, and he would be like non-verbal, he wouldn't really speak. He would just be able to like coordinate like certain things together. And he turned around, and I got home, and he was just giggling he was a lot more vocal.
Brilliant.
And I was like, what the fuck's going on here? My dad
was like, life changing for so many fucking people.
Like, what do you mean he's stoned? He's a fucking child. And my dad was like, I know he's stoned, we got it off the NHS, dear as fuck, like, but because it wasn't off the NHS, sorry, that he ended up fucking, or it might have been off the NHS, I don't know if he got it off, but he told me it was dear as fuck, like.
It takes you back to that, what is stoned? Do you know what I mean? You're back to the same question, what is high, what is stoned? What is stoned?
Well, fucking,
you know what I mean?
whatever it is, he wasn't, because his fucking eyes were red as fuck and all. I was like, oh shit. I got home and he was proper red-eyed. I was like, this is mad, because he's your fucking wee bro, and then he's also your fucking heavily disabled wee bro, and you come home and he's proper stoned, you're like, how's this even allowed? So I knew that you could get it, but then I just thought, obviously, because my wee brother would be a severe case, that you can only get it in severe cases.
No, since 2017 or 2018 it's been legal. It's just the knowledge isn't pushed out there as much as it should be. It's getting there now. I mean, you're seeing adverts all over the place for clinics. It's definitely getting there now, but in comparison to what it was like.
Well, I'm just fucking, yeah, I've went legit now, so I don't really give a fuck about what I talk about in the podcast anymore, but I remember getting RSO for people that were cancer patients and were terminal cancer patients, and I remember getting feedback, and it was I was getting it for someone's dad who had terminal cancer for 2 years. It was like, no, he's gonna die, but like he just wants to be a bit more comfortable, do you know what I mean? And I gave him a syringe of RSO, and I was like, right, fucking just put a wee bit on, like a spoonful of yogurt, like a bit like grain of rice, and then just boom, eat it, and then just fucking be about your day. Just rang me at like 11 o'clock in the afternoon going, I genuinely think he's dead.
I would say so. If you don't take that much, you take a pinhead at the first go.
Oh, serious?
Literally a pinhead. I can't stress enough to people. I have to see him for years. Literally a pinhead. Literally see that wee bit of clear thing, that's too much for your first go. It's literally a pinhead. I can't stress enough. A pinhead, it's the most psychoactive THC substance you can get. And the entourage effect comes with it too. Shocking, because you've so many other cannabinoids and terpenes in there too. When
she asked me, I was like, I'd known, and I googled it, and it was like, I bet a grain of rice, and I thought,
no, you build yourself up to a grain of rice. You always start everybody on a pinhead for the first 2 to 3 days, and then tell them to double up and double up and double up each day until they find a comfortable with grain of rice, and then that's you on the dose to start targeting. To kill cancer, you need to take 60 grams in 90 days.
60 grams in 90 days.
That's a dose to kill it. You can keep it at bay, but they can actually kill it. They cause apostosis. You need 60 grams in 90 days. Now that's basically what that is THC causes the cancer cells to commit suicide themselves. That's what happens, that's the science behind it.
Right.
So that's why it takes such a high THC to get in there and do the work. You need the high THC to get in there and do the work, because the healthy cells are all left alone, but the unhealthy cells commit suicide themselves.
And how, like...
Or see, chemo won't damage the healthy cells too, or RSO won't damage the healthy cells.
Right.
This is one of the big differences between the two.
And then as well, so when you are fucking taking that amount, is it just in like food and all, you just get stoked?
You build a tolerance. No, see, by that stage, when you're taking that much, you build a tolerance.
I mean, sure, after like a couple of days,
I speak with cancer patients they take half a ml syringe a day, like. There's no bother to them, like, because
I can do a syringe a daily, but you fucking
RSO's a bit heavier, like, because you do entourage.
The RSO I do.
There you go. There's an example of the entourage effect.
That is a good example.
Because your distance just THC.
Because when you
hear
your
RSO, your full spectrum.
Yeah, when you hear something's made with fucking RSO, you're like, right.
You know it's heavier because the entourage effects there. That's what's doing it. It's all the other terpenes, flavonoids, cannabinoids, flavours, all coming in together and doing the work.
And what do you think about house? Do you think we'll ever get house on the fucking medical market, or do you think there's just no need?
No, I do think you do. You will do, because you've got hash rosin pens and all there now.
Do you think it has the same medical effect? Is it all just the same medically, like
Yeah, it's just different consumption, man. It's just a different way to consume it. Do you mean at the end of the day, you look at CFS certificate of analysis, it's going to have THC percent, CBD percent, CBG percent, different terpene profiles. So it's just down to what works for each person and what works best for you. It's like me with a 1-to-1 ratio. It's good for me. Somebody else might think it doesn't give me a lot of relief. That's dead on. Do you know what I mean? But it's what works for you, and you find what works for you over time. And that's why people should be open to experience and try different strains and stuff on the medical menu, and shouldn't be restricted by a lot of these clinics.
Well, that's what I love about your clinic, and that's one thing.
We're very open to what we do as regards, if you want to try something, I look and I see if it's going to conflict with your condition. If I think it's going to conflict, if you've got anxiety and you came to me and said, listen, I want these strains because they're fire, and you'll go, okay mate, but see this strain here, this may conflict with your anxiety. I'd rather you didn't. But if you're adamant to go, no, I want to try it, okay, so be it. You're the responsible adult. I can only advise. I can't tell you what to do. And that's because your endocannabinoid system's slightly different to mine. That might not make you anxious. That might be fine with you. So it does no harm to try it and see.
I think that's the one thing that's really prominent, that it is not like.
It's not a one size fits all.
One size fits all. That's exactly what I was looking for.
That's what people need to understand when they're talking about cannabis medicines. They're going, people are just picking fancy flavors and names. It's not specifically about that. Sometimes it's just finding what works for you, because it's not a one size fits all.
Yeah, I think as well. That's one thing that I really love about the clinic itself, is the fact that it's affordable for people too, because like I know people that are fucking paying like £200 some for consultations, and then having to pay to change strains and fucking.
People are paying stupid money, and see sometimes when people transfer over to us and we ask why, it's not. Sometimes it's about money, but most of the time it's about service. There's no service, there's no knowledge. I mean, most of these clinics they've just got doctors on them with no cannabis knowledge whatsoever. They don't even know what an endocannabinoid system is, and that blows my fucking mind that these people are prescribing strains. You mean they couldn't tell you a strawberry cake from an OG Kush?
And they couldn't tell you what effect it's going to have on you as well, based on your condition too. Like, you just don't have the core knowledge that you need.
No, like we had a patient there recently who came over to us, and he said that they didn't have a Kush strain that they always worked for me. He always had like a Kush that worked really well. I think it was King's Kush. And they said, we don't have it in stock, we're just going to prescribe you something haze, silver haze or something. I was like, why are they prescribing something total opposite end of the spectrum? You mean a haze and a Kush are total opposite ends of the spectrum. You would never try and prescribe that as an alternative. So it shows a lack of knowledge in most of the clinics, and that blows my mind. There should always be a cannabis specialist within every clinic.
That you can just consult.
No doubt there should be a cannabis specialist.
Yeah, well, I think that should
every
just
single
be an
clinic.
industry standard.
I think that's what makes us stand tall.
I think the industry would do a lot better with stuff like that there too, because it would make the industry look a lot more professional, and flow a lot more professional. It would be a lot easier as well, just to have that knowledge on board. Also, I think too,
Kush saves money for people too.
Kush really pisses me off, because I love how it tastes, but I don't like smoking it, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know why, because this is an OG Kush pen, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just love the taste of it, but the high I just don't enjoy it. Usually don't. Same with fucking cheese, don't often like cheese. Had some nice cheese the other day though, to be fair, and I actually did enjoy it. It was like a throwback, so it was, getting to actually smoke a bit of cheese because it smelled cheesy, you know, because usually people are like, that's cheese and it doesn't smell like cheese, and you're just like, no.
That's the only thing the formula is really missing, is a good heavy cheese.
Well, this is it. Or fucking, well, now there is diesel, that fucking, what is it, the New York City diesel or the New York diesel?
There's better diesels than that in there's
Aye,
that
there
lemon
is.
diesel. See that lemon diesel from Glass Farms, phenomenal. Far
Aye,
better,
because
like
there is
the
some-
MICT.
Yeah, because when I got my hands on a bit of the fucking Tyson one, the first thing I said in my story, I was like, it just reminded me, I was like, fuck, that's right, that's diesel. What happened to like sour diesel? Like, what happened to that? What happened to the new sour
Genetics are
diesel?
rare, mate, really rare. Like,
But like, why? Because there was loads of ones. There was never anything wrong with it. It was always great. We just fucking took it away. Like, no one asked me to take it
It's
away.
held back. People play games with seed banks and stuff, and seeds is like, I'm holding this back, and that's just, the industry can be like that, mate.
But then as well, I see if I think you open that seed bank to make like fucking couple like OG sour diesel fucking Cali packs, I'd buy them. Like, I'm telling you, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand why they're doing
Stick
it.
in a shiny Mylar bag, it'd be alright.
Yeah, stick it in a shiny Mylar, send it to Belfast, and some people pay £90 for a 3.5. Yeah, like,
I've told you them, boys.
do you know what I mean? That's what I don't really agree about the Cali market, about the actual
It's filthy,
stores
the
and
prices they're
of it.
charging kids for fucking overpriced hype. That's all it is, mate. It's overpriced hype.
Aye, because even
Most of
like,
it's sprayed with fake terps.
I like that there's a market for people paying so dear for weed, because it just shows you that there's consumers that really care about the product that they're smoking. But then I just don't think they've been enlightened to what other products there is out there that they could be smoking instead.
I think the education is key, because like you said, they're willing to pay the money for the quality product, but they need to define what the quality product is.
Yeah.
And just because it's in a shiny Mylar bag and it's from Cali doesn't mean it's the quality product. I think that's a big misconception, and I think that's being proven now with the formulary, with the British strains and stuff being on the formulary. People are going, fuck, this is UK grown, look at it, it's fucking fire. And they're looking at some of the stuff coming across from fucking Canada and Cali and going, fuck, it's nowhere near the same standard. Do you know what I mean? As regards quality flour, it's not sprayed with shite and pumped full of PGRs.
And then PGRs is one of them ones where I didn't realise that was the main kicker. As soon as like I got that fucking big nasty glitter bunks, that was the first one I got. I opened the tub and then lifted out nugs, and I literally said to myself, I was like, I've been smoking PGRs for fucking ages. Because I was always one of them ones being like, you're fucking, like people like you say, like someone.
It's just steroids for plants.
Someone that I don't really know. See if they were to offer me a joint, I wouldn't smoke it. I wouldn't smoke it.
I don't smoke any joints. When I was smoking joints, I wouldn't smoke any joints.
I wouldn't smoke a stranger's joint.
Yeah.
But then as soon as I lifted that nug out, I was like, I'm one of them people who shouldn't smoke their joints, but probably technically, like, you know what I mean? When you think about it, like, the how fucking clean this is.
Yeah.
You're like, there's no street weed that you're gonna get that's gonna come like that.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm
It
saying.
just
That's where it matters now. I think the medical formulary where people are getting, because they know what they're getting. They're getting something's been tested, it's clean, it's a strain they've asked for. Do you know what I mean? Those things alone are priceless. Thanks very much.
No, it's actually mad how much that tastes like weed. I'm sitting ripping away on it, like, no, because I've got like a nice weedy flavour in my mouth. That's fucking great. What's one piece of financial advice you give to new entrepreneurs? That's actually a great one. I like that.
Keep reinvesting in the business.
Keep reinvesting in the business.
Just keep reinvesting. If you want to get anywhere, don't get overexcited too early, and just keep reinvesting. I mean, I'm still not to where I want to. I've built a lot of years to perform where I want to be. Do you mean? So I just keep reinvesting for a lot of years yet. Do you mean that people see the money coming in the bank going, right, I'm making that, I start taking big wages. Not that, do you know what I mean? Live on a wage that you can afford to live on and let your business build.
Oh, I live below your means.
Yeah,
and then fucking.
That's the best bit of advice I'd probably give to anybody starting out that is sort of, it's got wet legs, sort of not sure about the industry and just wanting to get in. Oh, I'm making money, right, let's fucking spend it.
Oh, I fuck that.
It's not that simple, because you're going to get bills, are going to hit you up the face.
I think people always underestimate the power of fucking the tax man as well.
There's that too.
Because I know people with, like, say for example, like you fucking want a prize guy or something, and the fucking go buy a sat in the hour, and then you're like, but then fucking you're gonna buy out their property and go to rent it out, and then they're gonna get scalped fucking property tax and fucking landlord fucking insurance and shit like that there, and then now you end up on the property ladder and you're like,
don't talk to me about the prize guy, I'm sick of wasting money.
I won fucking 50 quid off.
You want more than I won?
I was
fucking great. I think would have put there.
Because I remember fucking whacking 30 quid on the thing, and I won a £2 site credit, and I was raging about it. Like,
I don't mind, he's doing good things with money, but
no, well, he really is, because even just like the way he sponsors all like the MMA and the young fighters and all, see the amount of fights that you go to at the Devonish and has names on them and all, like I love one of them fights in the Devonish for class. Like,
that's why I love the Devonish too. I love it, most of them ones, cage conflict and stuff, cage conflict brilliant. But it's the only reason I have a lot of pros approach me too, and I'd rather take on the amateurs all the time.
Yeah, the amateurs.
Because you're going on their journey with them. Do you know what I mean?
And you're
and they're all young lads that deserve that bit of a break.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And we're benefiting each other with the brand because it's the brand's benefiting them tenfold.
Because I don't think people understand as
and again,
well.
there's another thing to kill the stigma on weed because there's a lot of these athletes taking CBD products all the time.
The athletic stoners, mate, they're fucking.
You know what I mean? And again,
like next level, because I can run the length myself, but if you put me in a gym and tell me to go 12 rounds in the bag and doing it, like, then I smoke joints flat out. Because when I go to the gym, and this is Joe fucking Robert from Larkin, we started going to the gym together recently, and he laughed and he was like, why do you always smoke a joint before you go to the gym? And I was like, because I'm not going to the gym to like lift a load of weights and shit. I'm going to the gym to like do a whack of cardio and like do a bit of technique on the bag and shit like that there. So like, if anyone's ever gonna fucking attack me, I'm most likely gonna be either smoking a joint or just after smoking a joint. So I need to like stay ready.
I need to be in that mindset.
I'll throw a joint out the window, fucking chest a wee bit wheezy and all, go in, fucking right, here we'll go, fucking skip for a few rounds and fucking jump on the bag.
But again, you have to remember, see, when you start exercising, your endocannabinoid system activates. Do you know what I mean? You're creating the cannabinoids in your body. You'll create an antibiotic and stuff in your body in 2AG when you start exercising. They're cannabinoids that your body produces.
Right.
I'm saying they're endocannabinoids, your body produces endocannabinoids and the plant produces phytocannabinoids, but they're still all cannabinoids.
And they all just intermingle together. Because I really do think that when it comes to like even any type of combat sports, I think see when you're stoned and you're doing it too, especially if it's light and playful, it's way better crack and you have more fun, you learn a bit more as well.
That's why a lot of, you'll notice the jiu-jitsu boys, jiu-jitsu boys all smoke flat out because it's helping them.
Especially when it ends with all the joint shit and all, because they'll end up with all bad
so it's helping,
like
it's so anti-inflammatory too, do you know what I mean? It's one of the most anti-inflammatory things in the planet.
Yeah, because this is what I always say to my granny, like, she obviously will have arthritis and it's all fucking the swelling around the joints and stuff like that there, and like, I get
highly anti-inflammatory.
They've actually got weed cards for America. So they do, because I was actually speaking to my granddad the other night, and I was just fucking, it's like, what he had, answered the phone, it was like right here to his face, he was like, Mickey, need you to get me on the baldy or green doctor. I was like, looks at me, I'll give him a shake for you.
Oh, brilliant.
Because he does. So, before we wrap up, because I've only got a question or two left, talk to us a wee bit about how you help people get their cannabis prescription and basically how easy that process is, because that's the biggest misconception.
It's really not a hard process, and I say it's people are still confused, and it's, I mean, it's been legal since 2018. It's a simple process. At the end of the day, you have to be eligible. To be eligible, you need a condition. I mean, there's very little cannabis doesn't help. There's your first sort of protocol. I mean, there's very little doesn't help. It helps anxiety, it helps pain, it helps diabetes, it helps epilepsy, it helps pretty much most things across the board, headaches and all, migraines. So there's very little cannabis doesn't help. So if you can name it that it'll help, then you just need to make sure that you've tried something else first. You need to try something with your doctor, because it's, for some reason, it's not seen as a first choice as much as I think it should be. It's not seen as a first choice. You have to make a first choice with pharmaceutical opioids or something along those lines first.
Which I think is a bit funny, because if it's fucking private healthcare, you should be allowed to just pay for the choice.
Of course
anyway.
you should, yes, totally agree. But this is the conditions are put in place, so you have to try something else. But if you tried something else and it didn't work for you, then so be it. You can try cannabis. As long as you've tried two other things. Now, two other things don't need to be 2 tablets. You're going to try, if you have a bad back and you've tried cocodamol and then you tried physiotherapy, that's 2 things. So you don't, if you're against pharmaceuticals, you don't need to try 2 pharmaceuticals. You can try different methods. If those don't work for you, then so be it. You're eligible for medical cannabis. Next thing to do is contact your doctor's receptionist, ask for the summary of care. They'll print out your summary of care. Give me a wee shout, we'll get you a consultation organised. After the consultation, you can generally have a medication to your door within 3 to 4 days. After that, it's a simple process of consuming your medication as and when you feel you need to.
And then as well, there's a holiday bonus as well if you are going away. What is it? Is it just, it's some form of letter, isn't it?
We can get you a travel letter if you need to go away, but generally, if you keep your meds in its original packaging, as you should anyway, keep your paper copy of your prescription with you. That's generally all you need to travel, but just don't travel to any Muslim countries like Turkey and stuff, because it's totally different rules altogether.
And
not accepted.
Japan as well just has a zero. Japan has a 0 drug tolerance.
But the likes of, if you're going to Spain or you're going over the water to Birmingham or England or anywhere, there's no problem at all. Or you're traveling to Greece or anything else, you generally, as long as you keep it in its original containers, there's rarely any issues.
That's actually what Cathal was asking me, or he owns the fucking Atos Now barbershops, who showed at Damon's. He was asking, can he take over to Greece with him? And I was like, yeah, 100%, because I'm near sure you can go into the pharmacies over and buy joints, like.
Yes, because you mentioned the travel letter, so yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, because when I was speaking to Big Chris, he says that he bought one in the pharmacy, like.
Yeah, it's the same with going to Thailand and stuff. The way it was for long enough where you were able to go buy what you wanted. Obviously, regulations just changed there, but
Then
that's
that's
the way it
fucked
was
up.
for
You can
long.
just buy whatever you want, or you can just walk into that like I want to buy this, and they're like,
Yeah.
what's that?
Yeah, it's mental. Like.
Which I think's fucking mad, like, and then they wonder why tourists come over and get into so much trouble. Because they do whatever the fuck I want, like, it's mad, like. But this is my final question for the day. Where do you see your business in the next 5 to 10 years?
I know where I'd like to see it, worldwide. That's the simplest way I can put it, mate. I want to see my brand in every country.
I want to see it worldwide.
I want to see. I want to be at the top of my game in the next 5 to 10 years. I'm certainly studying hard enough to do it. I put hours into books every single week to keep learning about cannabis. I don't stop, so it's not for lack of effort. I'm trying to share my knowledge with everybody for free as best I can. So it's certainly not lack of effort. So I'm doing everything I can to get to the top of the industry. So that's where I want to be, mate. I want to be at the top of my game.
Well, I've absolutely no doubt that you will be 100%. So
Thank you.
we're going to wrap up here. So Lee, I just want to thank you so much for sharing your story and your insights with us today. If people want to learn more about your other business, where should they go to find you?
www.cannahealthcareuk.
I want to thank you all for tuning in to the CEO show. If you've enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review, share it with your mates, stay tuned for more real stories from real business owners, and we'll fucking see you next time.
Thanks very much for having me on, really appreciate it.
No problem at all. I'll have you on again, 100%.